I've found that students aren't always sure what the issues are to begin with in any given election. And so what I do is I have them fill out an issues survey, and this helps them to think about what might be important issues for them to begin with, but also what their stances might be on these issues once they decide what's important to them. So my issues survey looks like this. The students come to a website where they choose yes or no to just some basic questions about these issues that were considered important in September of 2008. They fill in this yes-no survey, submit it. A feature that I really like about how this then reports out into a more reader-friendly format is that I can go to the show summary feature, and in the show summary feature what's going to happen is each of these questions will be represented as a pie chart, which is pretty handy. Each of these will be represented in pie chart form, so we can talk as a class about the stances on the issue. Notice with our first one here, should the United States drill for oil in protected offshore waters? 32% of the respondents of the students said yes, 68% said no. So we can talk about, the people who said yes, why they said yes, why they said no. It's kind of interesting to see what are the issues that what the issues are that matter to them and how they start to split along lines. As we discuss this in class, they begin to clarify their stances a little more initially, and the students who feel strongly one way or another, for instance with the single-payer universal health care plan, the discussion that ensued, a lot of it was students realized that they didn't know a lot about the issue, but the people who did feel strongly about it presented their case, and the people who didn't presented the facts of their case as best they knew them. But in general, what we found was that we have different opinions about these topics that were considered important, and that we need to know more about those. We had to figure out ways to get information, because what became clear in the class discussion was we can say yes or no, but when we started to talk about the reasons why we said yes or no, we were a little short on evidence. I got the questions for my issues survey from KQED's You Decide website. Kudos to the people there, because what they've done is created a tool that's really helpful to help people clarify their issues on important stances. So, for instance, let's say this question here, should the United States build more nuclear power plants? Let's say I choose yes. Well, whether I chose yes or no, on the first page what I get is just an introduction to the issue. They'll give me some the perspective of pro-nuclear power plant people. They'll give me the perspective of anti-nuclear power plant people. And then I'm taken to a page that says, should we do it, yes or no? Let's say I still think yes. Step 2 takes me to a page that asks me, yes, but have you considered? Nuclear power is the least practical option for reducing greenhouse gases. With so many states already getting behind clean energy, why take a chance on an energy source we know is lethal? Or it asks me, no, but have you considered? Nuclear power is part of a practical solution to global warming. So what I like about this site is that it's asking me to consider alternative points of view. And in my opinion, political discussion today, we don't rationally consider people who have ideas that are different than ours. There's a lot of shouting out there on talk radio, but there's not a lot of really thinking hard about people who think differently than I do. And so what this site will do is take me through and say, yes, but have you thought of this? No, but have you thought of that? So considering alternative viewpoints is a critical media skill that critical media literacy skill that is not practiced enough in the professional press right now. So let's say now I've changed my mind and I'll say, oh, actually, no, we don't want nuclear power plants. Well, I get to the next step where they're going to present me with more information that says, yes, but have you considered? No, but have you considered? Either way, I can click back and forth between these viewpoints, and I can start to think, okay, I'm still now against it. And let's say I read some more, and I'm confronted with the opposite side first. So if I click no, I'm actually presented with arguments that would try to persuade me to think otherwise. Let's say now I've said, oh, actually, yes, I'm back on board now. I want nuclear power plants. Again, I'm presented with more information from legitimate sources about the opposite point of view. In the end, what I'm going to do is click through there. Let's say I choose yes now. I'm sold on nuclear energy because of these pieces of evidence that I've been presented. What happens is I then come to a page that shows me the results of what other people have decided on this issue. And nice thing is there's a little discussion about the issues below. It shows me that 52% of the people have said yes, they do think we should build more nuclear power plants. 48% of the people say no. I could repeat the activity. I could go here for more resources on the issue. I could feature this activity on my website if I wanted to. But the point is, we have thought about alternative points of view. We've rationally considered people who think differently than we might. And that, to me, is one critical media literacy skill that we need to be teaching students today. And I can even enter into a discussion that, for the most part, is pretty rational on this site. And I think it's the ethos of the site that's led it to some rational discussion. There's always going to be some comments that are not rational, irrational. But really, in general, the site does a good job of laying the groundwork for rational civic dialogue.